Hi everyone, my name is Britain Cline, Ad Sales Manager, and welcome to this week's edition of Marketing Minutes by Scuba Diving Industry Magazine.
And hi y'all, I'm William Cline, publisher, and if you're watching this series and you're a dive company out there of any kind and you'd like to talk about your marketing techniques or your products or services, reach out to Britain or I, and we'd love to have you on our show. So speaking of our show, who do we have with us today, Britain?
Absolutely. So this week our guests are Autumn Blum and Mike Malterre, our friends from Stream2Sea. Autumn, Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Happy to be here.
You know, thanks for joining us today, both of you. Mike, we had you on our Level Up podcast a couple of months ago, and
That's right.
I think it was probably one of the most fascinating interviews we'd ever done.
Truly.
Talking about the fallacies behind sunscreen. So I can't wait to dig into today's show.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good one. But to just dive right in, Mike, Stream2Sea touts rigorous lab testing. How do you translate that kind of science into consumer trust at our dive shops and resorts?
Good question.
Well, really, what I love about the dive community is that most of them are either truly or frustrated marine biologists.
Totally.
And so when you provide actual science, right, they eat it up. And divers can see the damage because if you've been diving any amount of time, you can compare what it was before and what it is now, right? So most people use marketing and we use science. And that's a huge difference for this community, right? Because they are used to people saying, it does this, it does that, but there's really no proof. And our whole mission is to actually prove it, right? Show what we mean, do what we say, all those sort of things.
That's so cool.
That's very cool. So my next question would be towards really Autumn, but you have a huge range of products, which I didn't realize that until I really started poking around your website. In fact, I think it was at one of the shows, maybe it was Long Beach, and I went by and you had this display that had like 30 or 40 products on it. It's huge.
Yeah.
So you have everything from sunscreens to hair care products, dive accessories. You even have sun shirts, which are cool, a defog selection, so on. So how can dive retailers effectively incorporate all of your offerings into their inventory to meet the needs of these environmentally aware customers today that we have?
Nice. Wow.
I love that question. So first off, people sometimes think that we're a sunscreen company or a leave-in conditioner company, but I think we're actually a mass defog company. We sell more mass defog than anything else out there because the stuff works great, right? But we do have a full line of products, partially because I really like the product development side. My background, I'm a cosmetic chemist and I like to make the things. So then we have to teach our retail partners how to actually sell all the things. So like Mike said, we're science-based, and we like to say we believe we are the marine professional's choice. And when you think about why would a dive center sell shampoo or conditioner or even sunscreen, your divers are looking at you as the authority. There's in a world of blue washing, there's so many companies out there that remove 2 toxic chemicals, replace them with 2 other chemicals that aren't proven safe, and slap a reef-safe label on the front.
Right.
Your customers are trusting that you've done the due diligence to look at the science. It's all on our website. We freely share it, and know that when we make a claim, we can back it up. I mean, it's the real stuff, and we're not going to compromise on the performance either. So it's not just safe for the sake of being safe. It actually works really well.
Wow.
A couple of months ago, we were on a Virgin cruise ship, and they tout being super sustainable. I mean, that's their whole tagline. And we, of all things, forgot to buy sunscreen and walked into their little shop on board, and I was shocked. They didn't have anything reef safe. And I said, how come you don't have that? And they're like, talk to the people in Miami. But I was shocked at that, that there's not more. And I know you're everywhere, but we need to get on.
Well, that means that Mike and I need to do our homework then. We need to get back to work with them because we are their reef safe partner.
No
so
kidding.
that means they ran out of stock.
Yeah,
and didn't
that's
have to
probably
shelter
what
themselves.
Yeah.
Right, because they do carry us.
Oh, that's great.
But just to kind of carry that into our next question, Stream2Sea offers a wholesale selection on its website, providing opportunities for retailers to stock its products. Could you walk us through what your pro deal or co-branding program, what that process is, minimums, and how have partners maybe seen uplift in guest engagements? And Mike, you can take this, or Autumn, you can take this one.
Sure, happy to. And there was a lot of questions there. So let's start with I heard like 3 or 4. Where are we going with it?
Right.
So Pro Deal is really for people in the industry, right? So if you are a dive master, if you're working on a dive boat, we want you to experience this product because it is so important that you understand what this is about. So just by filling out the Pro Deal and providing where you work, you get a discount on that. What was question number 2, Britain? I'm too old to remember all of them.
Question
Come on.
number 2 would be your co-branding program. What does that process look like?
So really what's the most popular for co-branding at this point is our defog. Like Autumn said, we're probably a defog company, which is really funny from where we started, but it's very easy with 144 units purchased. Wow. It could be Jack's Dive Locker defog, right? Nice made by Stream2Sea. And that's just, it's so easy and it is so popular. And then people come back to the place that they got it because it works so well. Right. And let me tell you how well it works. There's a place here in Kona called Kahala'u where they actually plant coral. Wow. They give our defog away to all the people walking in. They don't even give them an option. They go, here, show me your mask, and they spray it in there. And the reason is because not only did they figure out almost every defog that they're dealing with contains baby shampoo as a base, which can do a lot of harm to the aquatic life, it's so effective that literally the first week that they started using it, 50% less people stood on the coral to clear their mask. Wow. Right? So trying to keep people off the reef, that's how important it was.
That's incredible.
That's truly amazing. You know, it just reminded me, most products in a dive shop don't have an expiration date. Rarely do they won't sell bags of chips or anything typically in a shop. But tell us about how that your shelf life, I assume there is a shelf life, and what's your best practices for resorts at, say, in remote parts of the world or boards in terms of keeping your stock?
Yeah, so I'll take that one, Mike. Shelf life side. So we do all of the stability testing in-house. We are an FDA regulated CGMP, that's Good Manufacturing Practices facility. We make all of our own products in-house, and we're well inspected and well regulated. And part of that is establishing your expiration dates. Well, when you do that, you establish them in kind of ideal conditions. So we also play with putting the products on a boat, or in our case, we have containers out back, like big old shipping containers, and we throw the products out there open sometimes. And how do they hold up over time in the sun, in the heat? And I will say that sometimes sunscreens, if they're exposed to a lot of heat, they will start to separate. Some of the natural ingredients will start to discolor. So best practices are, we love the bulk sizes. We like refill, but it's just more economical and it's more ecologically friendly. Right. So we want to encourage that, but we also want to encourage you, don't take a gallon jug and stick it on the boat in the sun. Yeah. It's just not good practice. Put it in your dive locker, put it inside, and then refill maybe the 16-ounce bottle. So we used to have all of our products in 32-ounce bottles. We're transitioning to 16s just because you refill them a little more often. Right?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So everything has, in real world conditions, 2-year shelf life. When you're protecting them, lasts a little bit longer. If you're abusing them, maybe a little bit less.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's very great advice. Yeah. So, Mike, given the increasing demand for the sustainable and reef-friendly products in the diving community, how do you see Stream2Sea's role in evolving in the supporting dive retailers to meet this demand, and not only to meet it, but promote ocean conservation as well?
Sure. Great question. So what we're finding is that a lot of big brands are starting to take all of that information off of their website and off of their packaging. Wow. And it's because they're starting to get sued and they don't have any science to back it. So where are we going with it? We're taking it even a step further. So we have, and I just saw it on the screen there, Coral Care. Yeah. We make sure that everything doesn't do harm to the aquatic environment or to humans, which is huge because 80% of every body care product contains estrogen and endocrine disruptors, according to a study out of France. But what we're doing is we're taking it even further. So we added coral nourishment to one of our sunscreens. And then we tested it for 18 weeks with Professor Michael Sweet at Derby University in England, and he put it in with coral. And goodness, when you add something that's a positive, it actually helped the coral grow 21% faster than it would in the wild.
That's incredible.
And the important one to me, when you talked about the other brands, right, is it actually grew 50% faster than what we expected the safest brands on the planet to be.
Wow.
And so it was kind of shocking to us. Now, what do we do to explain that to the stores? We want to train everybody that's going to touch this product.
Wow.
And so yesterday morning, I'm in Hawaii yesterday morning at 3:45. I'm on a call with a big retailer that's on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And we're training, 35 of their staff members. But the next step even further, we want to help those retailers sell these products. So not only do we educate them, but we want to educate the public. So get us your dive club, get us somebody from Sierra Club. I'll do a training for those people, and then it'll boost your sales tenfold, right? So it's all about a win-win-win, right? You're used to the cliche win-win. We want you to win, Stream2Sea to win, but the profit really has to be the planet and the ocean, right? And so that's the biggest one. And if we can't get all three of those, then we probably shouldn't play together, right? So for us, it's really important that you understand it, and then we help you sell it through by training the public about it as well.
That's amazing.
So one of our columnists is Dr. Alex Brilsky, writes brilliant. In fact, he writes our entire Eco Pro series, and he wrote an article a couple of months ago about the technology behind your coral care products. And actually, Autumn came and visited you at your manufacturing facility, and he called me afterwards and says, well, you cannot believe this is the coolest thing ever. And I mean, he's not one that's usually very emotional, but he thought this was, he was really super impressed with your processes and the science behind it, which is a big deal to him.
Definitely.
God, I love that. It was wonderful meeting him. And what I loved was he came in, he says, okay, so those are some pretty interesting claims. Show me the science. Can you back it up?
For sure.
And we went through it, which was just wonderful.
And he loves that stuff. So he was actually on Level Up too, and I want to say it was maybe our May issue. I want to say, but anyhow, it was a great interview. So Mike and Autumn, thanks for being on our show. I know you're going to DEMA, and we are 4 issues away from the actual DEMA show, which is just hard to believe. We're 136
Getting
days
closer
out.
and closer.
Oh my gosh, it's just the year is steamrolling forward. I know you're going to have some really cool DEMA show specials. Probably can't talk about it yet. You probably don't have those yet. But I'm going to challenge you to come back on our show prior to the DEMA show and talk a little bit about your specials you're going to have for retailers and folks that are going to be wandering the aisles there at DEMA and resorts.
Totally.
Right?
Absolutely.
I would love it.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
So, Britain, who do we got lined up for our next show?
Yes. So our next guest is going to be Margot Payton, the co-owner of Family Divers and Kids Sea Camp. So stay tuned. That should be a great interview. So make sure you tune in next time.
Yes, and Autumn, sorry, there's another name you haven't been called before.
There you go.
I've gotten that one.
Oh, yeah, okay. Autumn, Mike, any last closing thoughts?
You know, the last thing I wanted to share, just a point on Mike's, was we have these ingredient to avoid cards that you can download it on our website, or we give out thousands and thousands and thousands. It's like your own little mini app without having to use the computer that you can use to scan products to see if they're safe. So if you don't have it, download it from our site or request them. We'll send you as many as you want of these, our retail partners. And other than that, thank you so much for having us. It's really a pleasure to grow with you.
It's great to have you on our show and in our magazine. And by the way, if you're interested in becoming a dealer, you're a retailer out there listening to us, contact them. Go to their website. They have a wholesale program. They're set up direct. They have a whole program designed to work directly with you.
That's right.
And everybody on the planet should be selling these products.
100%.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks again.
Well, thank you too.
Wonderful afternoon in Hawaii and Florida. So
That's
we covered
right.
the entire Western Hemisphere today.
That's right.
That's it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.